Let's do the second trade here, man. That happened that day, and that was another trade that was pretty damn good as well, bro.
Yeah,
Uh,
it definitely was.
the Spurs and the Kings made a great trade, while the Bulls were a third team that actually came about in this trade. So the Spurs received De'Aaron Fox,
Oh yeah, I
De'Aaron
love live
Fox,
television.
De'Aaron Fox, and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings received, I think the Kings won in this trade, but we'll talk about that right after.
Ooh, okay.
Zach LaVine, Sidney Sissoko. Hopefully, I said that right.
Oh,
A
everybody
20,
knows Sid.
yeah, right. A 2025 first round draft pick, a 2027 first round draft pick, a 2031 first round draft pick, a 2025 second round draft pick, a 2028, and two 2028 second round picks. And then the Bulls receive Zach Collins, Kevin Herter, Trey Jones, and a 2025 first round pick via the Spurs. I think we both
Before I give
agree.
you before we talk about the thoughts on this, if I was to read that in a nutshell and not tell you names, wouldn't that make sense for like the Luca trade? Wouldn't you think, oh, you're reading off the Luca LA trade, right? No, that's for De'Aaron Fox.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. But the Bulls gave up two picks, and then the Spurs, and then the other two remaining picks are from the Hornets and Timberwolves. So that's from either the Bulls or the Spurs, whichever
Yeah.
it comes there. But the Bulls gave up two picks, the Spurs gave up one pick, and then either team either gave up two picks or one pick each. But I think we both agree here that the Bulls lost this trade.
Yeah.
Let's be real. The
Yeah.
Bulls lost this trade here, right?
Yeah.
But
Yes, agreed.
how do you feel? We'll talk about the Spurs first, and then we'll jump to the Kings. How do you feel about De'Aaron Fox teaming up with Wemby, learning behind CP3, and being with that young core in San Antonio?
I'll be honest. I think the Spurs won the trade deadline. I think this is my favorite trade here of the whole day. De'Aaron Fox wanted to go there. He's been making it pretty public the last couple of weeks that he wanted to go there. Victor Wembanyama is proving to be the generational talent that they thought he was going to be, and he's only getting better. If he started to put on some weight, he's really started to catch the NBA skills. He's starting to catch the NBA body. I love that. He's going to be the man for a long time to come. And like you were saying too, you still have CP3 there to keep all the young kids together, to mold the whole thing. And hopefully Greg Popovich is able to come back. But Spurs have great coaching. They've always had great coaching. And the Spurs, this reminds me of like I was telling before we started, this reminds me of such a Spurs trade. It is the right move at the right time. They get the right guy that they want for him. And they didn't have to give up major pieces that are ready now. They gave up a lot of draft picks. That's without a doubt. But if you already have the core that you want right now, and as long as you can keep them healthy and keep them together, you're going to start winning championships. This reminds me of whenever they signed Tim Duncan, like they just know what they want. They know what they're doing. They find the right guys, and De'Aaron Fox and Wemby are going to fit in absolutely perfect. De'Aaron Fox is one of the fastest players in the league. He's a scorer, very underrated. And it's unfortunate. I only know one actual Kings fan, and he loved De'Aaron Fox. So I'm sorry, Kevin. Sorry to see him go out there for you, buddy. But having said that, though, a lot of people don't get a chance to really see the Kings or De'Aaron Fox play because they're on late night or they're just not a big maker market team. I think the Spurs, you'll actually see how good De'Aaron Fox is now because the Wemby is becoming one of the faces of the leagues right now, and so they're going to be on TV a lot more. And I think this chemistry is going to work out. I love Castleton on that team as well. I think the Spurs made the absolutely perfect move, and they gave up a lot, yes, in draft picks, but not draft picks don't always point out and don't always work.
Yeah, no, true. I think it's a great trade for the Spurs for sure. You're getting a point guard that is fast. He can shoot the three ball. He could score at will. He facilitates with the best of them, and he plays amazing defense. In his first game, he scored with the Spurs. He scored 24 points, and he had three steals with 11 assists. So you can already tell that he's hitting the ground running.
He's a willing passer. He's not a ball dominant guard. He's an actual true point guard. He can do it all.
Yeah, and then pairing him up with Wemby, who's going to be a generational talent that he's already showing it as well. First-time All-Star this year.
Both
Congrats
young.
to him. Learning under CP3 is another thing. He's going to get so many little gems from CP3 that is going to just improve his game substantially. Mm-hmm. And so I like it for the Spurs for sure. I think it's gonna be good for them. I think that they're probably 11 seed or 12 seed in the West right now. I think that with adding De'Aaron Fox, they can sneak into the play-in tournament and actually get into the playoffs and maybe as the 8th or the 7th seed. So, and then just for the years to come, is going to be good for them. I think they're going to get a lot of chemistry together, and they're going to hit the ground running with this young core, bro.
Yeah, I like it too because they're young too, and that's what the good thing is that you got two generational. I don't want to go this far saying De'Aaron Fox is generational, but he's a damn good player. Mm-hmm. Wemby is on that level for sure. I'm not going to go that route with De'Aaron Fox, but you get the concept of what I'm saying is that De'Aaron Fox is a damn good player, and he's young, and he's only going to get better, and he's actually going to be on what I think will become winning teams. The Kings did have a nice run going for the last 2-3 years, something like that. Sabonis was great. They just could not get over that hump. I think that with San Antonio's championship pedigree, believe me, as a Mavs fan, I used to hate San Antonio. That was my most hated team in the same division. Those games were epic back in the Dirk days. Dirk and Duncan and Ginobili, all those guys. They're kind of starting to feel like they're rebuilding that again. And they just seem to always land a great foreign player. They got great scouts. San Antonio knows what they're doing. And is it possible for two teams to win in a trade? Because I think you're right as well.
Definitely.
The Kings did pretty well in the trade as well, getting all those draft picks. And if they use them right, or you can save them and maybe next year see who's available because you have assets to be able to trade. And that's the nice thing about picks is that people always want picks. You can throw 2-3 first rounders together and hey, we want to win now mode, so that's what we can do. So I think getting all those picks, ergo Oklahoma City, and look what Oklahoma City's done. You kind of fall off for a little bit, and if you make the right picks, it's good. It doesn't always pan out. Some people just aren't good GMs. Philadelphia went through that whole trust the process, and it still hasn't brought them a championship. And all those years kind of feel like for nothing, really. They made it to the second round. Pretty much that's about it, really. So I think that if they got the right GM in there, that this could work out great for the Kings as well.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that they're bringing in Zach LaVine, and he's another scoring guard just like De'Aaron Fox. Yes, he's not as fast, and he has a better three-point shot than De'Aaron Fox, and he's not as great on defense than Fox is, but he's played with DeMar DeRozan. They know how to play together. They click together, and they made a sort of a little run with the Bulls and trying to get into the playoffs and the playoff play-in and all that. They know how to play together, which is the number one big thing. It sounds like they're gonna try and put Malik Monk at the 1, have De'Aaron, have Zach LaVine at the 2, and DeMar DeRozan at the 3. So there's 3 guards right there. Obviously, with Fox too, there were 3 guards that can score. So you're getting LaVine that can replace that a little bit and have a better 3-point shot with 6 picks for your future, which is the Kings what they're looking for. Even though they still didn't shift their team around that much, and they have another trade that they made for Jonas Valanciunas of the Washington Wizards, that he's played with Sabonis on their international team. And you could put Sabonis at the 4, Valanciunas at the 5, right? You could have that starting lineup. You have 2 twin towers and 3 guards that can score.
Yeah,
dude, I think the Kings are looking pretty good. The only thing they got to worry about is that defense, because their defense is not up to par. Sabonis doesn't play that great of defense. Valanciunas, he's not going to be playing that great of defense. And then now you lose an all-star defensive guard in De'Aaron Fox, so now you're depleted as well. So they need to find a way to cover the 3-point shot and to cover the interior.
Yeah, the Kings kind of remind me the way they're structured a little bit how Dallas is also structured as well, is that you're going to have good defense, you're going to have big players. Scoring is going to be where it's going to come from. I don't think Zach LaVine could be your number 1 scorer. DeMar DeRozan, he's always just a mid-range guy, so you're going to get 20, 22 points out of him, something like that, which is a good, nothing wrong with DeMar DeRozan. I like DeMar DeRozan a lot. But that's, I think, going to be the same thing is the Dallas dynamic as well, is that they're going to be so defensively set up that scoring is going to become the problem for them. They kind of remind me of the Grizzlies back in the day when they had like Zach Randolph and stuff, the grind guys, and they couldn't score very much, but you're not scoring on them either.
Yep. But I mean, defense wins championships, bro. But in today's age, obviously, you need to try to be putting up 130 points, bro, because these teams out here are just shooting so many threes. There's like 40 to 50 threes shot a game now. And it's
easily.
Dude, man, like if you're not able to at least match the scoring and play great defense, it's gonna be hard for any team to get to the NBA Finals. That's why the Boston Celtics got there, and that's why the Dallas Mavericks got there, because it wasn't because of the defense, but it was because they were putting up 150 points.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Boston was averaging at least probably 53s a game or so, something along those lines.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but man, good trade for the Spurs and the Kings. Bad trade for the Bulls. You know, the Bulls are looking on downturn, even though they kept Vucevic, which is I think is pretty good. But we'll move on, man.